Hello again. This is a story. We go right back now. We go right back to around about 1949, 48, 49. And my father was a rubber planter, and he was a rubber planter in Malaya before the war came along, and then it was rudely interrupted with the Second World War, and he had to go away and fight the Japs all the way down the Malay Peninsula, and was captured along with thousands of others in Singapore. And poor man was taken away, and he was a prisoner of war, and he had to spend 3.5 years building a railroad for the Japanese up the Burma, towards Burma through Siam. But that's another story. But anyway, after the war, he went back to the rubber plantations again. And in these days, most of the rubber estates were fairly close to the capital, Kuala Lumpur. And there was a big population of expats, British, Scots, and English, and managers of these rubber plantations scattered, remote areas along dusty laterite roads. And the most of them had some, they call them home guards, the Malay soldiers guarding the rubber estates and guarding the plantation bungalows where the managers and his wives were. And of course, it was dangerous to go out, well, any time. My father took it all in his stride, and so did my mother. Mother Brown, if you got to know Mother Brown, she is a formidable woman. I mean, she would take on the entire Japanese imperial army and win. I mean, she was frightened of absolutely nothing. And she was a crack shot with a Sten gun. So a Sten gun was her speciality. Nice and light, and you didn't have to point it, too carefully at anything. You just pulled the trigger. So after lots of months and so of not going out at night and visiting each other, friends and stuff, they decided to hang with it. If they were going to get caught or stop the car, and they were to hang with it, they would just take it as it comes. So anyway, one time they decided, that's it, we're going to visit the Hamiltons. The Hamiltons had a estate, and it was probably about 10 miles away, and they had to take the road, and they left. Of course, it was dark when they left, and they as they went, they saw that in the head of them there's a bus being stopped, and the CTs, the communist terrorists, were getting all the people out of the bus, and they saw this car coming towards them, the father's car's lights, and they made to try and stop it, put their hands up to stop it as well. But father wasn't having any of this. He put the foot down, accelerator, and he roared past it. And as he roared past it, my mother was out the window firing this Sten gun in the air, and they're scattering all these communist troops. And they fired a couple of shots, but there's one hit the car. But my father, this much time, must have been doing a good 40, 50 miles an hour. They roared past the bus on the side of the road, and off they went. And that was just one of the occasions that they had the run-ins with the CTs. Another time, they actually attacked the bungalow, and most of the bungalows were 2 stories, and we lived in the top story. And they attacked us one night, and there was only about 6 home guards, and they were busy firing, through the bottom windows and stuff. And I had this Chinese ama. We all had lots of servants in these days, amas and cooks and God knows what. And this Chinese ama, I forget her name, but she was amazing. I was only about 2 or 3. I was put in the bath was the Chinese armor went on top of me, and that was where I used to go when they attacked the estates. And my father, of course, was up the top there, and they killed the lights, and they was firing out the windows and whatnot. And my mother was there with a Rosten gun, giving it hell as well. But they never pressed it too hard. What they used to do, the CTs, they used to get in there quickly and try and kill or do a lot of damage and withdraw before British reinforcements arrived. So after about 10 minutes, they all left, and luckily there's nobody injured that time. But that's just another time. I mean, this went on right up until virtually the right through the 50s, then eased off in the late 50s, and after the 60s came, there was virtually no more problems with the communist terrorists. But that's it. We certainly beat them in the end. We beat them because we had the hearts and minds of the local people. The local people supported the British. So that's all to do with the hearts and minds. But that's just another story. All right, there we are.